So welcome everyone. Again, my name is Benjamin Bernstein, and most of you have my little handout, and I will be referring to it as we move forward. I am really delighted. Normally, I'm spacing the name of our normal astrologer here. Belinda Dunn. Thank you. I know her name. It just didn't go. Belinda is normally the astrologer who does this forecasting. She was not able to be here, and I am very honored to be able to take her place because I know she does a great job every time she does this. I'm excited because the events astrological in this quarter, especially in the latter half of April, are the most powerful I have ever seen in my career as an astrologer. If you'll just zip right ahead to the back of page 1. I only brought 20. I'm sorry. So if someone would be willing to share with you, or I will post this on my website as well, astroshaman.com, and you can check it out later if you wish. I will also be posting the video of this online. I know they are all wonker-jawed, and I don't know why the printout looks like that, but it just helps you be flexible. In the lower right corner, if you turn it like this, it says Grand Cross Peaks, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto. That is, if you look at that, that's a very tight square. The astrological configuration is called a Grand Cross. And these planets, Pluto, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars, are in an exact square within 1/3 of 1 degree to each other. All between 13 and 14 degrees of the cardinal signs. Now, aspect patterns are fairly common in astrology. Grand crosses with this powerful a planet are not that common, and grand crosses that are this exact, I've never seen the likes of. So I want to really focus on this configuration and the events leading up to it and after it, because I've never seen such an opportunity to springboard into revolutionary transformation for yourself. So a lot of people see this thing and they say, where do I duck and cover? Oh God. But that is exactly the attitude I want to discourage. I wanted to encourage you to say, okay, how can I take a quantum leap into the next level of my growth? Who here is interested in evolving and growing? All right, you came to the right configuration. So let me give you the breakdown of what these planets mean. In your chart, if you hold it like so, landscape, the planet on the right is Pluto, and the planet on the top is Uranus. Pluto is kind of red, and Uranus is kind of blue, and I have circled them in yellow to draw your attention to them. This is April 22nd, in the lower right corner of the back of page 1. All right. So Pluto and Uranus together simply mean revolutionary transformation. These two planets are making what's called a square, a 90-degree aspect. They have been doing that exactly since 2012, and they will continue doing it through 2015. Their influence will continue through 2019. They got close enough to start firing this all up in 2008, so it's like an 11 or 12-year energetic event. The last time these guys came together was the 60s. They were exactly conjunct each other in the mid-60s. Their influence ranged from 1960 to 1972. I think we all have a sense of what happened then. Okay, things went from conservative to just wild and unexpected and crazy, and things breaking out and getting free all over. And I think you'll agree, since the near financial crash of 2008, the world hasn't been the same. Right now, what's happening? Russia invades Crimea, riots in Venezuela, the unexpected acceleration of gay rights in the United States. I mean, gay marriage looks like now it's just around the corner. So a lot of big things are changing really fast. And while we'll continue to see a lot of craziness on the global level, I agree with John and Ray that I'm expecting a lot of very intense things politically in April and May. But I'm more concerned about how can you use this for yourself. So I want to give you my Uranus-Pluto prescription for personal growth. Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. The images of Pluto are the phoenix burning to ash and resurrecting, the snake shedding its skin, the caterpillar morphing into a gorgeous butterfly. Okay? So Pluto's first lesson when he contacts is, what do you need to release that no longer serves you? So look in your life, where are the objects that you don't need anymore? Where are the relationships that are not moving you forward? What are the concepts and ways of being that are keeping you stagnant or moving you backwards? Pluto says, if in doubt, throw it out. So let go as much as you can of everything that is not actively helping you move forward into your next level of growth. And with Pluto, the optimal strategy, in my opinion, is to say, Divine, how can I serve you? as guided by my own inner wisdom. In other words, the guidance now is not from something outside yourself, it's from your own inner wisdom. We're all connected to the source, we're all God in human form, and we all have access to the wisdom that you can find anywhere outside yourself. So the more you choose to adopt the attitude, how may I surrender and serve as an ego, the more power Pluto gives you, because Pluto is really, really powerful. Don't believe that just because it's now classified as a dwarf planet that it's any less potent than it's ever been. In astrology, the further away the planet is, the more powerful it becomes, and Pluto is the furthest planet that I use in my horoscopes. So you can, if you use this power for selfish gain, you will have some power, but it will be limited and it will be corrupted. Okay, but if you say, how can I serve the greater good with all that I'm doing? And in my experience, the more I have devoted myself to service, the more happy and fulfilled I have become. And I believe there have been lots of studies showing the happiest people are the ones who most enjoy helping others. So the more you can move in that direction, the more you can say, I just want to be guided by my inner wisdom, the more Pluto power you'll get. You know, the best metaphor I've ever seen is in the first Star Wars movie where Obi-Wan Kenobi is facing off to Darth Vader, the ultimate dark Pluto figure, right? And he says, they're on the Death Star doing the lightsaber, and Obi-Wan Kenobi drops his saber and says, if you strike me down now, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. And Darth Vader takes a swipe, and Obi-Wan's empty robe falls to the floor, and then, run, Luke, run, right? And all of a sudden, Obi-Wan Kenobi is still there, but he's disincarnate now. He is a spirit force that it can be anywhere it needs to be. So I'm not saying you have to lose your body, but by surrendering the limited sense of self, which was what that metaphor was about, you become much greater. And the more you surrender to how can I serve, the more powerful you become. So that's my Pluto advice, to whatever degree you're willing to move in that direction. Now Pluto moves very slowly. When Pluto transits something, he takes 3 years when he first comes into influence before he finally moves out. Now Uranus is a little quicker. Uranus is a 2-year transit when he hits a chart. And Uranus is very quick. Whereas Pluto is the very slow steamroller grinding things down, Uranus is the lightning strike, bam, done, instantly. So Uranus is very quick. He wants it yesterday. So Uranus has some ways of helping you as well. It's the planet that rules intuitive flashes. So if you pay attention to your intuitive flashes, and you all know what an intuitive flash is. You've felt them. Okay? It's when an idea hits and you absolutely know it's true the moment it strikes. Okay? And when you have the courage to follow those, then amazing things happen. So I would urge you during this time especially to really follow the intuitive flashes. Uranus also wants you to be authentic and original. He wants you to be your authentic self at the ego level. Now your real authentic self, of course, is pure divine awareness. But at the ego level, what unique thing did you come here to be and express? Uranus wants you to do that now. Okay? The third meaning of Uranus is, how can I take my unique gifts and serve the collective with them? So if you follow those Uranus concepts, I want to follow my intuitive flashes, I want to really become the authentic personality I came here to be, and I want to use those unique gifts that I have to serve the greater good, then you'll be well in alignment with Uranus. The way you'll know in these really intense times, if you're not, is you'll feel Uranus's tough love a little bit. The Uranus tough love is anxiety, nervousness, irritation, craziness, just everything is chaotic all the time. So if you're having a lot of that going on in your life, to me, it's a signal you're not following some kind of intuitive flash you got, or you're not being your authentic self, or you're not being the service. So that is the usual prescription when you have those challenging Uranus artifacts, is to get in alignment with its high side instead. That's how I view astrology. You've got the low side and the high side, and you want to, if you're experiencing the low, then just take that same archetype and flip it on the high. How am I doing for time, guys? Anyone tracking this?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay. All right. So that's 2 out of 4 planets. Fortunately, that's the core meaning. Because when I look at this Grand Cross on April 22nd, what I see is the Uranus-Pluto square being temporarily stimulated by transiting Jupiter and transiting Mars. So what we have here, as I said, is basically a 12-year phenomenon coming to its peak on April 22nd. So it's very strong. In fact, there's actually another configuration these guys make. It's called a T-square. If you take out Mars and you just have Pluto, Jupiter, and Uranus, then these guys have formed this right triangle. They began in January. They continue through May. So how many of you, I think John already asked this question, but I didn't see much. How many of you have been feeling a growing sense of intensity since the beginning of the year? Yeah. Okay, what you're feeling astrologically is that T-square tightening and tightening. Okay, and it will peak on April 22nd. Now, I want to briefly cover some political part of this because the United States chart is being very powerfully hit by this. For example, if you look on page 1, the lower right corner, it says USA transits 4-17-14 transit Uranus square the Sun. The United States Sun in the chart most astrologers use, it's called the Sibley chart, is at 13 degrees and change of Cancer. And on April 17, the transiting planet Uranus makes an exact 90-degree aspect to that. In a country's chart, the Sun represents the identity of the country or its leader. In this case, that would be Obama. Okay, so that's the day when big paradigm shift is wanting to happen. If you turn the page on the 18th, the very next day, transiting Jupiter is right on top of the United States Sun. And then not long after that, hang on, I'm flipping my... and on May 17, just for perspective, transiting Pluto opposes the United States Sun. So this Grand Cross is right in alignment on this country. Now, I don't pretend to know exactly what's going to happen on these dates. Astrology is archetypally predictive, not concretely predictive. And that means I can give you the vibe of the energy. I can't tell you exactly how it's going to manifest. But I think we're already seeing a lot of big change in the country. The gay marriage thing is one thing that's very prominent. So what I can say is there's a lot of shakeup in the country right now. And if you are fighting for change, well, let's put it this way. How many of you are perfectly satisfied with the current status quo in the country? Okay. How many of you agree things are so off that it's going to take a radical change to get it back on track? Okay. So what better energies could we ask for than this massive Uranus-Pluto intense transformation lineup hitting the heart of the United States chart? It's perfect. Okay. So what there's a lot of events here. I'm going to give a quick summary and then I'm going to wrap up and pass on to the next presenter because I think I've done about my 20 minutes. So in summary, other events that are happening here is that Uranus-Pluto square is exact on April 21st, the day before the Grand Cross goes exact. And that's one of those ones. Yeah. And there will be actually a reiteration of this T-square I'm talking about, since we're covering the spring, on June 19, the day before summer. There will be another peaking of that T-square heart of it, but it won't be as strong as what we're having in April. Let me close by saying my recommendation to you. My belief and experience is that if you want to transform the world for the better, transform yourself. The way change happens is from the inside out, and each person who holds their own awareness of what they really are, which is pure peace and pure essence, just the divine essence that you are. If you do nothing else but hold that, it radiates like the sun to the rest of the world, and when enough people are walking around in that state, a tipping point is reached, and suddenly awakening and peace spreads globally. And my belief is that strategy will bring us peace in the most effective and rapid way. You can try to impose peace from the outside on warlike people, but it's not going to change their warlike insides. So if you will just work on your own awakening and your own harmony and peace, then that will do more than you can imagine to help the world at large.